Devin Patrick Kelly was allowed to assault his wife and his stepchild and break their bones. Then when he attacked or tried to attack with firearms the chain of command at a Air Force base, he was sent to a mental institution, a serious facility, a laboratory level facility. We're talking electroshock. We're talking experimentation type facility. You can look it up. And he then was allowed to flee, not have an APB put out for him, and they never filed the paperwork that he had a dishonorable discharge so he could get firearms. Look at that weak-minded creature. He's got MKUltra, MK Naomi, Monarch program, you name it, written all over. And those are just declassified mind control programs. Ladies and gentlemen, we are broadcasting worldwide. Let me just mention some of the news coming up. We have Sibel Edmonds, a high-level certified FBI, NSA whistleblower that ran translations in Arabic and Farsi for Special Forces operations, Special Forces Command, the CIA, you name it. And she's joining us in the next hour. Now, we had another whistleblower on this week, and the FBI came and picked him up and took him to a military base. And he's asked us not to give out his name and info yet, but he's been a well-known person in the intelligence community about Saudi Arabia's connection to Vegas, Saudi Arabia's connection in their civil war to new attacks coming. Well, Sibel Edmonds can talk about that, but also how Mueller is involved with the Gulen movement and others, and a big cover-up happening there. And by the way, every time we cover this, we get hack attacks, threats. I mean, this is a powerful group. And I'm not in the middle of it with Irgun or the Gulen movement. I know they hate each other. And it's a very complex situation. And I did know about Michael Flynn and stuff that was going on a year ago with this. And Flynn was siding with the United States for our sovereignty and our security, exposing the Gulen network. And that's what Mueller's now got, is that General Flynn was out of the military talking to the Turkish government and others about terror networks and other organizations here in the U.S. Give the guy a Medal of Freedom award. Don't put him in jail. Of course, the former head of Defense Intelligence think he knows what's going on? By the way, who do you think he listens to? So, and people listen to me not because they're even learning anything. People at that level go, wow, why is that the only show that knows what's going on? And how does that guy know all this? I had the FBI call up a few weeks ago and just go, how did you do what you did on Vegas? Where I said, I think they'll attack at 10 o'clock at night in the next few days. And I just said, you know, there's a lot of factors go into that. They said, a lot of factors. We don't think you're involved, but this is getting weird. So I had a discussion with some folks about it. Just told them really how the cow ate the cabbage. But I'm going to leave that alone at this point. This is the real world, though, here, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't a game. It's not a joke. And we have terror networks in this country that are run by the deep state breakaway group. You don't think Obama and Hillary and the globalists and all them just started the Arab Spring and killed over 1 million people, hundreds of thousands of them Christians, and displaced millions, and invaded Europe with jihad armies, military-aged men, 8 million of them. Another 2 million were women and children. You don't think they just did that by accident, and you don't think they're just going to give up. Launching ICBMs at Saudi Arabia out of Yemen, all hell breaking loose. They've got stay-behind networks, sleeper cells, in this country. And the word is from our sources is they've basically been activated and been prepared. And it's such a hot subject, within 2 hours of our guest not even saying his full name on air, the FBI came and grabbed him. And the media spun it and said, oh, Jones claims he's got another source. Yeah, like I said, well, the president says that he's looking to release it. Same day they go, Jones is making it up, Stone's making it up. The president is not releasing it. President tweets the next day, I am releasing the JFK files. I mean, come on, folks. The issue here isn't about who's right and who's wrong, we know who's right. We know who told you Hillary had health problems. It's now confirmed. Donna Brazil. It's about stopping the terror attacks. And it's about realizing there's a civil war within the government going on. So Sibel Edmonds is joining us in the next hour. Shepherd Ambulance is going to be back in studio with the latest on his deep investigations of the Saudi military conferences and government conferences that were going on in Vegas on October 1st and all the rest of the story. And that's why the public's not been told what happened there, because everything points towards an arms deal that was used as a cover for an assassination operation on some of the princes that were not allied with the Wahhabists, and the whole ongoing civil war and helicopters blowing up and people getting killed in their houses and cars blowing up. I mean, every few minutes it's happening. There is a full-on war in Saudi Arabia right now. And remember what we told you on November 1st, 8 days ago, Saudi Arabia connections to Vegas, more attacks could be coming. And now you're starting to see it on the news. And just watch when it comes out. Because the deep state wants to just use this against America and use this against Trump and use this against gun owners and attack churches. And let's look at Devin Patrick Kelly. Attacked his wife, attacked his stepchild, fractured the baby's skull, came to the base to kill his chain of command, gets thrown in a mental institution. He escapes after months, and they don't put out an all-points bulletin, and they don't put in his file that he was dishonorably discharged so he could illegally get weapons and pop back up with another group of ne'er-do-wells. They've got a whole cell of these guys in Central Texas. I'm going to leave it right there. And if you want to say MKUltra, please do. Because he fits the exact, precise, complete, total cutout of, oh, you want to get sent to a hardcore psych facility? You want to kill the chain of command? And then he's allowed to escape, and then they don't try to pick him up, and they let him infiltrate back into the public after he got his electroshock, and after he got put on all the drugs, and after he got put on his ibogaine and got put on his ayahuasca and told he was a god and all the rest of the crap, and given some women and given some more drugs. I mean, they had the ninja 500, 600, 700 years ago just off of opium addiction and sex. They would train for 10 years for one assassination and commit seppuku, or suicide, by driving a short sword into their stomach and pulling it up into their heart. That was Japanese mind control. Imagine what they can do today. But it's incontrovertible that he was allowed to escape and then protected. Stay with us. Devin Patrick Kelly was allowed to assault his wife and his stepchild and break their bones. Then when he attacked or tried to attack with firearms the chain of command at a Air Force base, he was sent to a mental institution, a serious facility, a laboratory level facility. We're talking electroshock. We're talking experimentation type facility. You can look it up. And he then was allowed to flee, not have an APB put out for him, and they never filed the paperwork that he had a dishonorable discharge so he could get firearms. Look at that weak-minded creature. He's got MKUltra, MK Naomi, Monarch program, you name it, written all over him. And those are just declassified mind control programs. Ladies and gentlemen, they've been putting human brains in rats for 30 years. They just announced it yesterday. They've been putting microchips in people's brains for 40 years. And if you don't know they've got mind control down to a fine art, you're living on another planet. The reason I'm saying mind control, that this is a deep state, shadow government destabilization operation, is because this is exactly what mind control programs have been used for, is assassination operations. And where the disposable individuals don't even know why they're doing it, they are compelled to do it. And the military is heavily into this, and you've got shadow groups now working to destabilize the country. And the media will try to make jokes out of this, but the globalists are obsessed with mind control and mind war. It's what they do. And the fact that they didn't put out a warrant for him to be picked up when he's supposedly going to try to kill everybody on the base, and then he flees months later from a mental institution, and then they don't say pick him up, they don't say anything, and then years later he goes and does this, and he legally gets firearms because they didn't put him in the database. Bare minimum, they were insanely negligent for their own safety. Don't believe it for a minute. This boy is part of a project, a program, and he got off the reservation a little bit, but he went back into his doctors, and he got back on the reservation, didn't he? He was a good boy. He did a good job, according to his handlers. And you know, they've got a big nest right here in Central Texas of those. Nice little nest. So, carry your firearms, ladies and gentlemen, because you never know when a wound-up pedophile devil worshiper is going to come walking through your door. And it turns out he's a pedophile. Turns out he hates Christians. Turns out he's into the occult. As I told you, most of these atheists that are anti-Christian, they're crypto-Satanist. Just like the anarchists are really communists, but they go, oh, communism doesn't exist. They've all got, you know, Mao and Lenin tattoos, and we're Red Guard, we're going to kill you. You're like, oh, just last year you're anarchists. That's right. Now it's revolution, scum, and we love Satan. And they're just the perfect people to be inducted into drugs and hypnotism and electroshock and programming, and then you can just tell them, you're a god. Here's your program terms. Here, take this. Boom. Just like Sirhan was drugged in front of people, given an amnesic. He was just the diversion. And then in comes the wind-up toy. They found Tim McVeigh drooling on the side of the road saying, it burns, I've got a chip. They blew my chip up. Because that's what they do. The old chips, you just wave a demagnetizer over them and they blow up. They pop because they're transceivers. They receive and transmit. They've got a lot more advanced ones now. There's more than 50,000 people in the U.S. admittedly that got federal grants for advanced brain chips just the last 20 years, mainly military personnel for PTSD and depression or brain injury. Oh, we got something's going to fix you. And they're just tested on everybody. They've got chips decades ago where you can, with a joystick, control somebody, have somebody sit down, have them go to the bathroom, have them just joystick around. They had 30 years ago robo-rats that would just had a brain chip and it would just go into rubble with a video camera. You can look all this up. So understand, ladies and gentlemen, we're not in Kansas anymore. You will get chipped eventually, says USA Today. You will. And ABC News, you will. CBS News, you will. And now Stockholm Syndrome, Stockholm, Sweden. Oh, if you want to get on the train, you get discounts right now if you take the chip. But soon, they said officially this year, soon you're going to have it because we have identity theft problems. And just work with the community. And now more and more companies are making people get them. But again, the CIA told WashTech 15 years ago that, oh, we're pushing the body modification movement to get people ready for this. And then when the Washington Post shows you the Swedish worker, he's got the big earrings and the body mod, which do that if you want. I'm just saying, you got with the program, didn't you? You got with the program. And then they have the Today Show and all of them. They just laugh and Good Morning America. Oh, it's so much fun. Oh, it's so happy. Everybody's going to get your chip soon. We told you 20 years ago they're coming. They're going to try to make you get chipped. Here's how they're going to roll it out. Oh, Jones is insane. Now, everything we told you again is happening. Oh, and your TV's watching you. Oh, and your phone's tracking you. Oh, and there are cancer viruses in the vaccines. Oh, and did we tell you? Did we tell you? And then all these little smiley people, we're going to go along with it because the big corporations give us money. And now Bezos and Buffett and Gates have more money than half the U.S. population. And it turns out there's a bill about to go through where the U.S. government will only order from Amazon. They're going to have special portals that only go to it for government procurement. And they'll make 50+ extra billion a year. And then Bezos can train us all how to be good little slaves. But he's liberal, so it's okay. And that's why they're in economic warfare with us. That's why they don't want us to have websites or have products. And that's why they want to shut us down. That's why they lie about us every day, because they want a total monopoly. And Amazon is the company store. Oh, my soul, of the company store. Why they always have free shipping, so that everyone just expects free shipping when they get a $1.48 government subsidy on every order on shipping. But you don't, and I don't. And then you think you get ahead by buying something from Amazon. Oh, I don't want to pay for shipping at Infowar store. I want to get my free stuff. Hell, it's free, all right. As free as getting your throat slit and thrown down a well. But Bezos is cute. He's liberal, so it's all right. He'll take real good care of you, don't worry. Because you're in his cult now. We have free shipping. We don't always do it, but to match the great Amazon, free shipping, it's not going to last long, and 50% off on a bunch of our best-selling products to help fund the Infowar, InfoWarsStore.com. Please commit to fund the war. We will defeat them, but we have to admit just how evil they are. Do you understand? They're on board with the force that wants to destroy humanity. Everything they do is pure hate towards you and your family. Everything they do is committed to destroying you.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.